30 seconds to go. One last gasp for Edmonton. Bouchard's pass didn't click with Draisaitl. 12 seconds to go. Florida trying to end it up against the wall, which would be fitting. 3 seconds to go. The Florida Panthers have won the Stanley Cup. For the first time in their 30-year history, the Florida Panthers are Stanley Cup champions. They made it about as hard on themselves as they possibly could, battling a valiant Edmonton team that had rallied from adversity all season long. And Paul Maurice, coaching lifer, 30 years in the National Hockey League, has his Stanley Cup.
Hey, does your home?
What the puck is going on?
What the puck is going on for Monday, November the 4th, 2024. I am Stephen Murray. Nephew Dave is on the line today as we have a short slate here in the NHL, but a lot to go over. And what about those Florida Panthers as they are on top of the Eastern Conference right now with just 3 regulation losses on the season at 9-3-1 overall. The other team who's killing it right now in the West, Winnipeg, 11-1. But we have some good hockey teams out there. Dave, how's it going out there today on your Monday?
Oh, it's going, Steve. Yeah, you're absolutely right. There are some good teams to start the season. Florida looks like they definitely want to defend their title. Tampa Bay at 7-5 is also intriguing. I'm sure we'll get into that later. But yeah, Steve, there's some pretty good clubs all over the place here to start.
And we actually have some streaking going on here. Florida winners of 5 in a row now. The Carolina Hurricanes have now won 6 in a row after a little bit of a sluggish start for them. Let's see. In the West, Winnipeg, of course, they only have that one loss. But they've won 3 in a row since then. The Minnesota Wild having a fantastic season so far. They've won 3 in a row, 8-1-2 overall for them. Vegas, we wondered how they would be with the turnover on their roster, 8-3-1 for them. And then on the losing side of things, you have teams like Colorado still stumbling. Edmonton playing better. Here as of late, 6-3-1 in their last 10. So they've kind of gotten themselves off the mat, even though Connor McDavid's going to be out for an extended period of time now. Let's see, other teams streaking somewhat here. We have Montreal and Buffalo, both losers of 3 in a row. In your Caps, Dave, 8-2 in their last 10. How about them?
Yeah, Caps are looking very strong, much better than a lot of people anticipated. I will include myself on that one. A tough loss last time out. They actually played pretty well in that game last night against Carolina, but, you could just tell that the Caps were a team coming off the back-to-back. They just didn't have enough gas in the tank. Final score was 4-2, but, that was an empty netter. Really, the Caps held it 3-2. From most of the time. So a lot of good things going on in Washington, that's for sure. And they're going to be somebody to keep an eye out for.
And we were talking about the Bruins, how they were kind of slumping. We had them on some tickets, and they weren't doing anything offensively. But they've now won 2 in a row, still with a -8 goal differential, just 6-1 on the season. So they are an average Joe right now are the Bruins. We'll see if they can pick things up as we move along here. You taking anything else out of the standings, Dave? Let's see here what we got. As far as the conference goes, I'll just kind of read the top 8 where we're at now. Florida, the Rangers, and then Carolina, Washington in the 4th spot, Tampa, Toronto, New Jersey, and Boston. So New Jersey not even playing up to their expectations a little bit. And then in the West, we have Winnipeg, Vegas, Minnesota. The Kings have been nice, a nice story. Dallas, Vancouver, Edmonton, and then Calgary. You taking anything out of the standings so far here through 10 to 12 games?
So there's one thing definitely that I'm taking out of the East is that I don't trust Boston, as you were saying, an average Joe right now, and that's absolutely what they are. 6-6-1. I would even trust Ottawa a little bit more right now. They're 1 point behind them. Do not like what I've seen out of Boston so far. Long season, obviously this stuff can change. But, yeah, just not to be trusted. Maybe somebody to pick on in Boston. In the West, Steve, I think that's more or less probably about where we thought most of this was going to go. As you mentioned, Edmonton is playing better. We expected that at some point. So we'll see how far they can keep climbing. But, yeah, all these teams, except for maybe Minnesota, in my eyes, right where we thought they would be. And then you have, Winnipeg, just the absolute top of the class right now. So some good teams in the East and West, Steve, and the standings, I think, more or less what we thought they would be.
All right, the teams that are struggling injury-wise right now, and I'll start from the alphabetical bottom of the list, work my way backwards. St. Louis Blues, they're a very banged-up team at this point in time. Let's see here. The Islanders are another one you want to be careful of. A lot of their key players like Matthew Barzal, Anthony Duclair, the guys like this are going to be out for an extended amount of time now. Let's see here. Colorado's always on this list. I mean, they really are. So they're a banged-up team still. And that's really about it. Still a lot of these teams relatively healthy at this point in the season. Figure we're about, 10 to 12% done with the season so far. So as much hockey as we have left, we've actually gotten a decent way into this hockey season so far. And we'll see how things develop. All right. Let's see here. I'll get to the schedule. We have a light slate tonight, right, Dave?
Yeah, there's only 2 games on tonight.
And then we'll look at a few things for tomorrow, and we'll keep an eye on the week ahead. So tonight we have actually 2 really good games, to be honest. The Kings are in Nashville. Nashville is the minus 140, 6.5 in this one, 8:10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time game. Tough one to handicap in my book. What might you be looking at here?
Yeah, Steve, I'm going to double check here because I think there is something that I like, but I just want to be sure with the teams that played last night, and I want to make sure that LA wasn't one of them. No, they were not. I like LA in this spot. They're plus 120 on the money line. So that's pretty good. And you got to think if that number's there and we go into the 60-minute line, plus 185 for the Kings. I love that right there.
Oh, yeah, that's a big number. And then their total goals for the Kings, just over 2.5, minus 138. We know Saros is a good goalie for Nashville, but it seems so easy to get the 3 saves. And it is you say Saros against Darcy Kemper tonight. Let's see the goals for Nashville. I'm assuming is going to be at 3.5. Let's see here for their baseline. Yes, Nashville total goals plus 116 over 3.5 for them. I would look at the Kings over 2.5 if I had to make a play on this. I think they can get to 3 goals tonight. They've been decent on offense here. Let me see if I can get to their splits here. Let's see, the Kings so far second in the Pacific Division. They have scored 39 goals, allowing 40 with a -1. That's in 12 games. So figure they're averaging right about 3.5 goals a game. So that should get you there at the over 2.5 if you look at it from that perspective. Nashville, bottom of the Central. Look at this. They are 4-6-1 overall, a -9 goal differential. They only have 29 goals, Dave, in 11 games.
Yeah, can you believe that? It is just not what we thought it would be right now with Nashville. I still expect that to turn around. Maybe it's just taken a little bit longer than we thought it would. But, it's early, and we might as well pick on them while we can. Just a huge surprise right now in my eyes in Nashville.
Even in that division in the Central, I mean, you have some teams who've been playing decent like Utah. Dallas is a perennial contender, but maybe not quite up to what they've been the last couple of years. If these teams aren't careful, Winnipeg and Minnesota are going to make this a 2-horse race running away. So these teams towards the bottom of the Central here need to get their act together. And we're talking about Colorado as well. Colorado now 12 points out of first place already on the season.
Yeah, and they're just, like you said, it just seems like they're always so banged up. I mean, they could have a really great team if they could have all the guys that they want to have on the ice at the same time. But it's hard to play through those injuries when you have so many and so frequently as well. So, it might be a tough road ahead for the Avs.
The Kings just 2 points out of first place in the Pacific, trailing Vegas by 2 points there. And that's they played Vegas a couple of times already. So they've knocked out a portion of their season schedule against each other head to head. All right, let's look at the other game, which is a good one. New Jersey at Edmonton tonight. New Jersey sitting fourth in the Metro right now, 7-5-2 overall. They're 4-4-2 in their last 10. They're already +8 goal differential, so they are scoring goals. They have 50 goals in 14 games. Now, they've played the most out of any of the teams because they've had that Czechia start of the season. But a +8 goal differential, decent. Still a little bit left to be desired, though, overall for the Devils. We look at the splits for Edmonton, 6-5-1. They've played just the 12 games, -7. So their offense has been lacking, just 31 goals scored in their 12 games. So that's right about 2.5 goals a game for Edmonton. But again, they are hot as of late, winners of 2 in a row, 6-3-1. The line in this game is Edmonton is a underdog, +106 at home. Devils -128. 6.5 is the total, juiced to the over. What might you look at in this one?
Steve, I would definitely take an over in this game. While Edmonton, you talked about the goals per game, and then they're not quite where, they usually are. But it's still a team that is very capable, as is New Jersey. I mean, Steve, this is one of those games where it gets muddied up, and it's either 3-1 or it's 6-6 going into overtime. If you want to just take like a fun, risky little bet or whatever, I would go over maybe 9.5.
Right. I can see
goals in this game.
Right, I could see that.
So that's where I would go.
If we want to take a look at a crazy alternate number in this game, alternate goals, we'll look at over 8.5 is at +300. To get to 10 goals is at +680. So really, you just need to get the 4-4, and then you can get that decided in overtime as well. Or if you're looking for that 10th goal, then if you have even a 5-3 lead, you'll get an early goalie pool, which will give you a chance to get to that high number as well. The goalies listed in this game, I believe it's Jake Allen. Yep, Jake Allen and Calvin Pickard are the listed goalies in this one. All right, a decent slate on Tuesday night as we look at the week ahead here. I don't have any lines out for Wednesday, but we have a full slate of games, just the basic numbers. We'll have Toronto. They'll host the Bruins. We'll have the Flyers at Carolina. Flyers been struggling for the most part this season. Calgary has fallen back down to earth after their hot start, but they are a favorite at Montreal, who's been poor. Tomorrow night, it's minus 126 for the Flames. Ottawa is at the Sabres. Ottawa's an interesting team, Dave. They've, let's see, let's take a look at them real quick. Midway in the pack there in the Atlantic, 6-5 overall. They don't have an overtime loss. They have scored 42 goals, though, allowing just 33, so a +9 for them. That's actually the best splits in the Eastern, in the Atlantic right now, actually. So good on their part. Let's see, what else do we have? Pittsburgh at the Islanders. We talked about the Islanders being the banged up unit. The Kings are at the Wild. Tampa is at St. Louis. Utah is at Winnipeg. Seattle is at Colorado. Seattle has now started to struggle back to where we thought they might be at the form of 2 seasons ago. They haven't lived up to that expectation, and they have been struggling like they have for the most part last year. Vancouver is a team trending hot. They are at Anaheim, who has not been good. And Columbus, who has shown spurts of being a decent team this year for sure, is at San Jose. The Sharks actually won 3 in a row before losing here in their last time out, maybe even their last 2 times out. If I look at it, San Jose, just the one game losing streak, but they did win 3 of their last 4 overall. Let's see here, and Columbus again. That is a team mid-pack, 5-5-1, so probably better than what a lot of people have thought. Philadelphia down at the bottom, 4-7-1 of the Metro. The Islanders 4-6-2. I expected better things out of Pittsburgh, 5-7-1 for them. All right, so let's just take a look at a few of the games. And we talked about Toronto or we talked about Boston, but they'll be in Toronto. That's a tough task tomorrow night in Toronto, right?
Oh, absolutely. But here's the thing. With that being said, I don't really trust Toronto right now myself.
They're likely to. I mean, they're about the same team: 6-5-2 for Toronto, 6-6-1 for Boston, and separated just a point. The main difference here will be the goal differential of -8 for Boston, a flat even 39 goals scored and allowed for Toronto. But yeah, trust hard for either one of these, right?
Yeah, absolutely, Steve. I mean, you put it, pretty well there. They might be mirror images of each other, really.
Right.
So tough angles here. I got to think there's maybe some better plays out there.
I might take a look at this game in Carolina tomorrow night. They're a hot hand. They're laying a big price, -275. But I might look at some sort of an alternate puck line when it gets on the board here. At the 60-minute line, anyway, it's just a -175. If I'm going to string together some games tomorrow night on a ticket, the 60-minute money line, even at -175, may be worthy for me for Carolina. Just go ahead and pick on the Flyers some more.
Yeah, I think you certainly could. You'll have to probably play a couple bigger numbers, but Carolina, definitely looking pretty good as of late. Flyers towards the bottom. So, yeah, absolutely. One of those teams you can certainly try and pick on.
Anything to say about Calgary and Montreal? That would be a complete pass for me at this point, the way those two teams
Yeah, I don't like that one either.
How about Ottawa at Buffalo? Buffalo is another team that has been struggling, 4-7-1 for them with a -6 goal differential. Ottawa has been putting the puck in the back of the net here, averaging nearly 4 goals a game. So I'll maybe take a look at the Senators in the spot.
You know what, Steve? I actually, looking at this game, you would think, who cares about these two? But I'm actually seeing a couple plays that I might formulate for tomorrow. And for whatever reason, Buffalo is favored in this game, maybe because it's at home. But, Steve, I mean, I think you could play the Ottawa -1.5 and get a really nice price for it.
Yep, plus 140 on the 60-minute line right now for the Senators. The Penguins are at the Islanders tomorrow night. The Islanders are the favorite. As bad as Pittsburgh's been, I got to think that they can win this game against a banged-up Islander team who, if any team has trouble scoring goals, it's the Islanders. I mean, they are just 28 goals scored in 12 games. So that is not even 2.5 goals a game that they are allowing. They are, defense has been their saving grace a little bit. They've only allowed 37 goals in those 12 games, so allowing just 3 goals a game. Pittsburgh, on the flip side, their issue has been their defense. I mean, they've allowed 50 goals, which I believe is a league high. They're tied with Montreal for 50. Anyone else? 51 the Avalanche have allowed, and San Jose has allowed 50 goals as well. So that's a lot of goals at this point in the season. Most everybody else is right around the 40 mark. And then you even have teams like Carolina and the Rangers who've only allowed a handful of goals. The Rangers allowing just 24 goals in their 11 games. The Carolina just 23. So Pittsburgh very leaky there on the back end. And I'm not sure what's up with Tristan Jarry, but maybe they're getting the Islanders at the right time for them, a team that has 0 offense. Maybe Pittsburgh can steal that one on Nassau tomorrow night.
Yeah, so that would be one of my plays for sure. Again, Islanders, maybe because it's at home, are favored here. I'm just not buying it myself. Pittsburgh is plus 120 on the money line. Let me see if a 60 is available just to squeeze that. Yeah, plus 170. There we go. So we're looking at some angles here for tomorrow. Pittsburgh on the 60-minute line, I think, like you said, catching the Islanders, at the right time, banged up early in the year, maybe opens the door for Pittsburgh to kind of climb back.
Pittsburgh and Ottawa, if you take them both on the 60-minute line tomorrow night, you're going to get 5.5 to 1 odds on the parlay for them both to win in regulation. Good game tomorrow night. The Kings will be on the back-to-back, unfortunately, at Minnesota. So maybe this is going to favor Minnesota. They are minus 160, over under 6.5. So probably a bad spot for the Kings against a hot Minnesota team tomorrow night.
Yeah, I would expect Minnesota to take care of business. Minus 1.5 plus 150. They're going to be the fresh team, so I would definitely look at that, and I would definitely take a look at the 60-minute line. These back-to-backs are they can be difficult sometimes. So you usually you like to take the other team. So Minnesota, Steve, I believe, is the play. You could go really 3 ways about it: the puck line, the 60-minute line, or the regulation, the money line, or the 60-minute line.
The St. Louis Blues is a team that you can put on the list of troubled offenses. Just 32 goals scored for them in their 12 games. They have a -6 goal differential. They'll be going against a Tampa Bay team that you like, Dave. They're 7-5, just 2 games above 500, but they are scoring at a rampant rate here. They have 46 goals scored in their 12 games. Better at home than on the road. But I would think Tampa Bay would be the better team at St. Louis tomorrow night.
Yeah, absolutely. Give me Tampa by a couple in this one. Minus 1.5 at plus 160. Let's see if it's available just for. No, it's not yet. But I might even go minus 2.5 to get a pretty large number. I just trust Tampa Bay at this point a lot more than I do St. Louis.
And if we're thinking in terms of that, then obviously the 60-minute line comes into play. They're a flat even plus 100 on that. And right now, if you add them to the Ottawa Penguins 60-minute line. You're now going to get 12-1 odds on those 3 games, which is pretty juicy right now. If you ask me, I might have to throw that in as a play. Let's see what else we have. Utah, they've been a nice story, Dave, but I think just outclassed at the end of the day in Winnipeg tomorrow night.
Yeah, I just think Winnipeg's too much. You're getting a plus 130 for minus 1.5 there on the puck line. I fully believe that Winnipeg could win by 2 or more. So maybe that's where you go.
Seattle and the Colorado is a game that I'll pass on from the Colorado injuries and just their recent form and the form of Seattle. You would think Colorado would be able to hold serve at home, but I don't have any trust in either one of those two right now.
No, not at the moment. That game, just run away from that one.
Vancouver is someone I may take a look at as well tomorrow night. They are 5-2-3. That's their main issue, is that they play to overtime and play a lot of closer games here. So that's what's scary in terms of playing a 60-minute line. They are 4-1 on the road, though, overall. So they are road warriors. They've only played 10 games, so that's the least amount of anyone in the NHL right now. They'll be at Anaheim. Anaheim has some crazy numbers here. 24 goals scored in their 11 games, but they've only allowed 31. So they've been stingy at least, and 4-5-2 overall. I think at the end of the day, this will probably be a no play, but if I had to lean, I'll take Vancouver.
Yeah, I would probably take Vancouver. I don't think Anaheim is a push around, though. I think they make it work for them. And with that being said, maybe there's better plays on the board.
I would take a look at Columbus tomorrow night in San Jose. Columbus is a team. You feel like that they're just playing with good momentum after the devastation that they suffered this past summer with the passing of their player. So 5-5-1, I think they can get above 500 tomorrow night and win in San Jose.
Yeah, absolutely, Steve. I actually really like them in this spot. Plus 185 for minus 1.5 on the puck line. I think that could easily be 2.5. Minus 135 on the money line. I like that. We'll take a look at the 60 is plus 110. I like that. So I like a couple different things here for the Blue Jackets, which, usually you would see this game and be like, all right, well, I'll be in bed, not missing anything here. But if you're playing a ticket, I definitely think that there's some angles here that would otherwise, make this a much more interesting game.
I think I'll stick to this to make it easy on myself, although it's tempting to take the minus 1.5 because the payout's going to be extraordinary on the ticket. But if I take all these teams to win in regulation, I'll take the Penguins, Senators, Lightning, and Blue Jackets. Now we're getting 27-1 on our money.
Yeah, see, that's fantastic.
All right. Let's take a look at some of the futures and see where they sit at right now, which some of this stuff's going to be interesting to me at this point. Yeah, Winnipeg's still getting a nice price on them, 22-1 to win the Stanley Cup. Shocking that they're that low still.
Yeah, that's pretty good. I have 18-1 myself, and maybe it's time to do something with them now before everybody starts catching on and the book starts giving them a little bit of respect. So I think now would be the time to jump on a team like Winnipeg.
Yeah, and I still have a ticket at 23-1, so that hasn't moved much at all on that note. Let's see, our caps are at 50-1. Overall, Nashville is still at 22-1, as bad as they've been. So that's interesting to see. Minnesota's 23-1. Vegas is 14-1. Colorado's 13-1, as bad as they've been. Carolina is 13-1. Rangers 11-1. Devils 13-1. Maple Leafs 13-1. Florida 11-1. Dallas plus 950, and Edmonton is still your favorite at 8-1. If you wanted me to take one of those top dogs, I mean, you're still getting a fairly good price with the Rangers at 11-1.
Yeah, so definitely God dang it. Looking here, yeah, Steve. There's definitely in the East, right?
Yep.
Oh,
That's the win the Stanley Cup, but
Oh, okay. Sorry, bud.
Yep.
This thing is just going crazy on me
you're
with
good.
the internet connection. Yes, I like. Tampa's got an 18-1 price. Would like that to be a little bit higher, being what their record is right now. You got to just look at some other teams. Maybe Capitals at 60-1. I mean, why not them? That there's a new energy to that team, new life. The guys are having fun and they're putting up a lot of points right now. You got to think if they can just kind of keep that going, they're going to be a dangerous team come the end, and why not them? So there's teams like that. Minnesota would be enticing. So I think there's a bunch of good numbers here so far.
The Capitals 28-1 to win the East right now. Ottawa's 20-1. Bruins 10-1. I don't want that. The Lightning just plus 850. Carolina plus 650. Devils 6-1. Florida 5-1. Rangers 5-1. Tampa Bay 6-1. Just looking at those numbers, I think there's too much hockey left with injuries and stuff. I think you just lay off now unless you just want to lock in someone like the Capitals at 28-1.
Yeah, if you're playing with teams like that, then absolutely go ahead and look at a couple of those. But as far as the teams at the top, yeah, I think it's at this point, let's just kind of shut that down, even if just for a minute, to see if we can't get some more appetizing numbers there. But yeah, up at the top is right about where you would think it is anyway.
And Winnipeg is 11-1 to win the West. That's not a bad number right now, considering they're your 8th pick and they've only lost one hockey game. That's insane to me, actually.
Yeah, I love that, and maybe the Minnesota Wild at 10-1 as well would be sneaky.
Right. And if you parlay those with someone like the Capitals or like the Rangers, now's your time to get a good lock-in. So really, a Rangers-Jets Stanley Cup final, which very well could happen. If you throw $100 on that now, then you're gonna get paid out. Let's see what it is. I was just reluctant to delete my 60-minute line ticket here because I don't want to forget about it. But the Jets right now, if you take them with the Rangers, which sounds like that's a legitimate Stanley Cup matchup, 71-1 odds on that right now.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, it really is, and that could absolutely, be a matchup that you see for the Cup.
All right, Dave, any final thoughts here with everything going on this season? I mean, it's been fun hockey so far.
Yeah, Steven, it's been exciting, and again, we'll circle back to our Capitals. I mean, we love what we're seeing so far. Talking to other fans and whatnot. Like I said earlier, you got that fresh energy, new guys, some younger guys, decent mix with the veterans there. So it's just a exciting time for that right now as well. But yeah, Steve, there's definitely been some good hockey played, and it's been definitely exciting so far.
All right, let's go ahead and we'll throw a team into the penalty box, and we'll go ahead and find a goal scorer for tonight as well. Let's start with the goal scorer. I'll go ahead and cue up our horn here. The first game with the Kings and the Predators. If you have to pick a goal scorer in that game, Dave, who are you gonna take here?
I'm gonna go with a. Let's see here. We'll take a quick look. Give me a Roman Josi at 3-1.
Yeah, I was looking at that. I see plus 380 on my end, and I'm going to get almost 3-1, not quite, plus 290 on Anze Kopitar. So I'll take him for the Kings to score tonight as well. And then in the other game with the Devils and the Oilers, let's see here. I got the list up now. I'll go ahead and take a let's see here. Who am I going to get a nice price on? You know what? Let's go ahead and take a Let's go ahead and take a nice price. We're expecting a lot of goals. You might get some of these guys that were not necessarily used to scoring, but we're going to spread it around the wealth. Give me a Thomas Tatar at plus 600 for the Devils.
Oh, there you go. I like that, Steve. I was going to go. I have a Devil and I have an Oiler. We'll start with the Devil, Paul Cotter at plus 550. He's actually been playing very nicely for them so far. A guy that's maybe kind of going under the radar right now, but from what I've seen, a couple different games that I've seen New Jersey play, he has been in the mix of most all of it. So we'll go with Paul Cotter, and then we'll go with Evan Bouchard for the Oilers at 3-1 as well.
Yeah, this game's full of goal scorers. I mean, guys like Timo Meyer, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, Andre Palat can even score. So Jack Hughes, Zach Hyman, of course, Dreisaitl's still around. So the list is long of potential goal scorers in this game. And I think probably good call on your part, Dave, to look at an alternate over in this one. All right, we'll go ahead and throw someone in the penalty box. We'll go ahead and queue up our referees.
And you're trying to switch 7 guys. Mike, come on. You can't do that. That was probably number 10. 2 minutes broken. 82, Tampa, tripping.
All right, Dave, who are you going to throw in the penalty box?
Steve, you know what? It has to be the New York Islanders right now. Injuries, and they just don't score goals, Steve. And to me, that's worthy of being put into the penalty box.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and I want to look at the schedule a little bit more here for these guys. But they're in Carolina tomorrow night, and they have not been good at all. But go ahead and give me go ahead and throw in the penalty box for me, because they'll have Tampa Bay coming up after that on the road, and then they'll also have Florida on the road as well on Saturday. So throw the Flyers in the penalty box for me, as they have a tough stretch with Carolina, Tampa Bay, and Florida coming up this week.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
All right. So that'll do it for us. We'll go ahead and wrap things up. Good luck on your tickets tonight. Any final words, Dave?
No, again, short slate, but I think if you look, I think there's something you can find tonight.
All right. This is What the Puck is Going On. We will return next Monday, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Good luck. Have a good hockey week.
What the puck is going on?